Hey, it's your man StyleCon coming at you today with another video. Finishing this, actually not really finishing up, just pretty much starting this one out. Got the JLC on for today, and it's for this particular video. Now, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. If you watch any of my videos, you know that. Definitely watch a lot of YouTubers that do wristwatches. And there's a lot of them saying that, a brand like JLC, Brequet, Lange, they don't get the respect that they deserve in the watch community. And brands like Patek and VC and AP, Richard Mille, or Mill, however you want to pronounce it, how they get a lot of credit. Now, I was thinking about this, and I did a video on this, and people were trying to give reasons why. It's like, why don't they get the love that they deserve? Like, JLC has, the most movements ever made. I think over 1,200 movements they've come up with over their time period. And I got to thinking, you know why they don't? Now, you're going to have to hear me out. This might be a little longer than my average video. But because no rapper talks about them in their songs. If you listen to any type of rap music, I didn't grow up on rap music. When I was a youngster, my mom was kind of snooty. We were only allowed to listen to opera and jazz in our house, even though she liked her Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson. She could listen to that, but we weren't allowed. She wanted us to be somewhat cultured. And rap was my rebellion. And with that, like when I was in grade school, Run DMC first came out. And Run DMC was the biggest thing. It's like, man, this is great. And Adidas was their shoe brand that they wore all the time. And you had to have the shell toes. And you had no laces. I tried the no laces thing, but my feet kept flopping out. But you had to have them if you wanted to be cool, and they wore their Levi trucker jackets and jeans. But that put Adidas I forget what they're called now, hard toes or clamshells, I forgot. This is way back in the day. I'm getting old and I'm dating myself. But you had to have that to be cool. And it sold because rappers were promoting the product. You had other rappers like Travis Scott and Nike, and he comes out with his collaborations. And they usually, damn near 99% of the time, sell out. You have products like, it was a big champagne company back in the day, Cristal. And they probably still make it, but all the rappers were talking about them. When I used to go to the nightclubs, people were buying those bottles, $300, $500, depending upon what place I was at. And people were buying it. Why were they buying it? Because the rappers were talking about this. And I did do a video on this, how rap is destroying the watch game, because these watches were all under the radar. Nobody knew about Vacherons. Nobody knew about Pateks, unless you were an insider. If you collect watches, you knew it. But if you're a basic watch collector and you go to the mall, you see your Rolexes, your Omegas, your Movados, that's the normal people. But with rap music, it helps promote things. I don't care who you get. It could be David Beckham, even Rafael Nadal himself, when he wears his Richard, at least he did. I think he's retired now. And he can never do what the rappers have done for Richard Mille. They put Richard Mille on the map. I mean, if you follow producer Michael, he said when they first came out, they couldn't give those watches away. He's like, people just didn't want them. Then the rap boys started talking about that. Nicki Minaj, Michael Kors. I mean, I knew who Michael Kors was as a designer, if you're into clothes, and I didn't think his clothes were all that great, but she started rapping about his clothes, and all of a sudden, all these girls want to buy these products, and it's just, that's where these other brands go wrong. Now, I think it's a double-edged sword. If they want to get the recognition they do deserve, not saying to do this, But there is no bigger publicity that you can get than to get a big rapper, a Jay-Z, a Kanye, 50 Cent. I remember when 50 Cent came out with his sneaker line. I think it was just called G-Unit, and they were with Reebok. Man, those things were selling like hotcakes. Everybody, I grew up in the hood. Everybody in the hood had to have a pair. Now look at Reebok. They're struggling. They can barely sell anything, even though they have Shaq and Allen Iverson. But it's just, you get rappers in this game, they can help promote your brand. So if you're a Brequet, hey, donate a watch to a rapper. Ask one, pay one to put that in your song. But now, there can be downsides to all this. And my thing is, if they do want to get to be more known and get those recognition, you might want to get with a rapper. I hate to say it, but it is what it is, But there are downsides. Like Louis Vuitton, one time this is back in the day, they said they didn't like rappers to talk about their product. And they were asking, why don't you like rappers, mentioning Louis Vuitton bags or shoes or whatever it is. He said, because when rappers do things, it becomes a fad. It will die out. And that is so true. If you look at Tommy Hilfiger was big with rappers in the day. Who's wearing Tommy Hilfiger like that anymore? Nobody's checking for Tommy. Even Michael Kors, when Nicki Minaj first came out, she's right. Who's checking for that? Cristal, people stopped buying it. The rappers moved, it's a bottle called Ace of Spades now, but they moved on. Like with Adidas and the Shell Toes. The rappers have moved on. So if you are Brequet, if you are JLC, and you do want people to know about your product, there is no better way to get your product out there and to have it being recognized than if you go get yourself a rapper that will put it in their songs. They have a way of making things blow up, but you gotta be concerned about the downside. Kanye West, he was doing a deal with Nike. Nike didn't want to pay him. So what did he do? He went to Adidas. They created a whole line of sneakers for this man. I remember trying to get a bunch of pairs of Yeezys. I could never win these little auctions. I don't know how the hell these other people got them, 20 pair, but I couldn't win one. But then when Kanye and Adidas had their falling out, you couldn't give Yeezys away. That's the first time I won 2 pair. I could never win them before, and that's the downside, because with any rappers that do things, they do move whatever's hot. So if Brequet's hot right now and some other brand comes out and takes over, they will jump ship to that hot brand. But if you're a watch brand, and I don't think anybody that's a watch brand is watching my videos, but if you were watching, put me on the payroll. I know how to play the game a little bit, so you can get that notoriety that you want and deserve, but you're not going to get it through having an actor. Mark Wahlberg does not have people go out and buy watches. It has a hell of a collection. Kevin Hart's another gentleman that has a hell of a collection of watches, but they don't get people to move watches. What's his name? David Beckham. What is he with? Tudor. What's his face? Tiger Woods. He is with Tudor. People bought Tiger Woods watches, but he didn't move the brand where they were actually moving tons of numbers because he was a brand ambassador. The best people to use when you're trying to get a name for your product is rappers, especially a famous one. If you can get a Jay-Z to do it, you can get a Nas to do it, you can get a 50 Cent, Joyner Lucas. If you can get these guys out there to promote your products, it will push it out. And those people that I've watched like Federico talks watches, and he talks about how like Brequet and JLC, they don't get their credit. I forget her last name. I think the first name is Britt. There's Mr. K, I think it's called, from the Art of Watches, and he was talking about brands that just don't get the respect that they deserve. And then he was talking about other brands that do. You know what the big difference between those brands that get the respect that they deserve versus those that don't? Simple. Rappers. Those rappers that are talking about AP, VC, Patek, Richard, those watches do well because people know about them. Rap is the biggest music in the world that gets it out. The watches they don't rap about. Brequet, Patek, Lange. And there's a bunch of other ones out there that, you know, GP, Gerard Perigo, they make an excellent product, but guess what? Nobody raps about them. And when these guys do rap about the products, it does bring light to it. But with anything, you have to be careful because right now people are getting robbed for their Richard Milles. Actually, I saw a video. These guys just came up on this one gentleman. I guess he had a $600,000 Richard Mille, and they took it off his wrist. I've seen people get chased down for Rolexes because rappers have made it where the average person knows what these watches are. And I hate to say it, some below average people know what these watches are that are looking for a come up. You know, it's like, let me see if I can steal this watch for $600,000. Maybe I get 50, 20. Somebody might give me some money for it. You know, Pateks and Vacherons. So it makes it more noticeable. Whereas you can fly under the radar with a Brequet, with a JLC, with these brands. So those people out there that do talk about, you know, that some of these brands don't get the recognition that they deserve, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. It's a double-edged sword. You can get that recognition, but now you can't walk down the street or wear your watch because people are noticing it when they didn't notice it before, just like Patek and AP and VC and Richard. People notice these watches and they want to take them from you. It's a double-edged sword. These watch brands can get bigger if they use wrappers, but just remember, everything comes with a price. And on that note, thank you for taking the time to watch this long-ass video. It's like, what's that, almost 13 minutes. I never go 13 minutes. But if you have any questions or comments, as usual, hey, watch brands, if you're watching this, I can help you out. Hit me up. Email me. And I will check you guys out in the next video.